Oh, come on, sweetheart.
Good, Bob. I'll pick them up for you.
Can we get them? There we go.
And you got a shad.
I got a shad. Oh, there we go. Well, I'm Bob Murray. This is Delaware Valley Outdoors. We're week fishing on the Shark River. My good friend Dave Steckley's with me. Caught a shad. We got week fish coming, all right?
Sooner or later, there should be.
Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one.
Delaware Valley Outdoors, your best source for fishing information on TV, radio, and the internet.
Dave, we're here on the, I guess it's the Shark River, and we're fishing for weak fish. And you recommend that the tide's got to be an outgoing tide?
Yeah, on the outgoing tide is your best tide. It seems to be the best time of the evening when you have a stronger current going out. The bait fish seem to be stacking up and around the pilings here.
Now, we have an outgoing tide, or we're going to get one here. You had mentioned that the bait fish seem to be pulled more out to the ocean during an outgoing tide versus an incoming tide?
It seems to be better fishing on the outgoing tide in the darkness like this at times. You have more of a pull pulling out the bait fish out of the back bay and stuff, and you have your fish coming in the main river here, and they're just all meeting up in the river here.
What we have, what's going on right now, is that, let me see, it's about 2:30 in the morning, and we have a party boat coming in. Now we're fishing right from the jetty here, but you can also take a party boat out. We're in Brielle here, or Belmar, and the party boats will come in, and we have a drawbridge coming up, so that's what you hear the bells coming in the background. So we're gonna watch this party boat come through.
For your free gun safe educational book at 1-888-4-EAGLE-4. That's 1-888-4-EAGLE-4.
You can hear the beep a little louder.
The JATES program has helped me so much in the outdoors.
For a long time, I didn't even know what conservation even was. I want to do my part for wildlife. I love being a JATE. Whether you hunt or not, the JATES program has something for everyone. I know I'm doing my part for wildlife.
I really believe children hold the key to the future of wildlife.
And NWTF believes it too.
Mommy, what's wrong?
You can refuse to be a victim, and we can help. Call now about the I Refuse to Be a Victim safety course from the women of the NRA. It's not about guns or joining the NRA. It's about planning your own personal safety strategy. Call now.
The Wild Turkey Woodlands program provides the materials. It provides a seed program, also technical assistance through their biologists. The land has been here for eons. It's only mine and my family's for a short period of time. We're the managers and the caretakers of it. That takes into account our way of life and our interest in our hunting heritage. And the Wild Turkey Woodlands program is the greatest conservation habitat development program of any conservation organization in this country.
Just caught a shad. We're week fishing, but what other kind of fish? I mean, I was surprised to catch that shad, but what other kind of fish might we expect to catch tonight?
Tonight, basically, you can catch just about anything. You'll catch some fluke, it's a possibility, stripers, sea robins. A variety of fish are always in here, always trying to work this bait fish. You have your bunker swimming around in here, and that's basically what they're looking for.
Now, Dave, we're just casting out here, but how do you recommend working the bait, and what are you doing with the bait to catch the fish?
Basically what we're doing here is we're just dragging the jig heads across the bottom. There's one technique you can use, just kind of twitching it across the bottom. Another technique is you can swim it across at a little faster pace, which also works. It all depends on their moods and how they want to hit it.
Obviously we're fishing at night, and the lure we're using is not a really anything elaborate. It's basically a jig with a worm, am I right?
Yeah, basically all we're using is a 6-inch culprit worm. It's imitating baby eels that, you know, mostly they feed on. And we're using a pink finesse also with just a regular jig head, you know, 3/8 ounce jig heads. It seems to be doing the job.
Okay, we got a finesse bait on, 3/8 ounce jig, and our tackle's nothing spectacular either, is it?
No, basically I'm bringing down my my 6.5, 7-foot flipping stick just to, you know, get a decent cast out there. You know, we're only fishing for, you know, 5-pound, 8-pound weak fish, and it seems to be doing the job. You don't need anything too big. You need a little bit of backbone in those rods though, so you can lift them out over the rocks here and stuff.
I got my bass rod here. And you can use a spinning rod, but you got to need some backbone, like you said, because you can catch a good 8-pound fish. You're going to need something a little bit heavier. How about line test? What would you recommend for that?
Line test, typically, I like to use 12 to 14-pound test line. A lot of guys are using lighter line. They're coming down here to have a better fight. They're throwing 8-pound test on shorter rods. Just trying to have as much fun. You're coming down catching a lot of fish in the evening like this, and it adds a little bit more excitement to it.
I know. I mean, I've just said it's like 2:30 in the morning. We're here on the Shark River in Belmar. Why have you drugged me out at 2 o'clock in the morning? Couldn't we do this like at around 10?
The reason that we're here at this time in the morning, obviously, is because of the tide situation. It is a good time at night. The prime time would be, say, dusk. If you could get a high tide at dusk, that really works a lot better. You have a lot more light you can work with, and but it's all based on the tide, and that's why we're here at this time in the morning right now trying to catch these fish.
When we were talking about doing this, you know, you stressed basically that tide situation. We have to catch the right tide, whether it be at dusk or like right now, late at night or early in the morning, as the case may be. One thing you got to do is you got to check the tides as to when they're going to be. So you go to the newspaper, you go to our website, DelawareValleyOutdoors.com, to get your tides. And they have the booklets in all the shops and stuff like that. That's true down here. But you got to check the tides, because it's so important that you really do find when the tide is going to go out, because that's when the best fishing is. And what do you got, about 2 hours, say, Dave, after that, or what?
No, the window of the tide actually going out, you probably have at least a 4 to 6 hour window of good fishing, where you should have no problems catching fish, you know. Basically, you want to try to do is fan cast the areas, you know, working and around the pilings of the bridges and stuff like that. You'll have your fish laying in there just like anything else. You know, waiting for those bait fish to come around that point there so they can ambush them.
I know we have the limits on weak fish have gone up. What's the size limit, and how many fish can you keep down here?
The size limit that they do have down here is a 14-inch minimum limit, and you can keep up to 14 fish per day.
The tide's really moving here a little bit. Get let us. But that seaweed hits it. It feels like you got a hit.
Yeah.
We're down here at Belmar, and I know you had mentioned it. It's really peaceful, and it's a really nice town, and it's not far from our area. It's what, an hour from, basically from Trenton and Philadelphia. We can get here quickly down, what is it, 195, and it's a really convenient place to fish. I really love it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you just come down 195. You're straight into Belmar here, or Avon. You have a lot of fishing areas to go to. You have your jetties. They have taken it upon themselves to concrete in the jetties, so you have access to all of them. You know, the town itself is a real nice, clean town. They take care of the beaches. As a matter of fact, they're out now combing the beaches with the sand comber. They have done a replenishing part on the beaches itself, where they've pumped the sand up from the, out in the ocean onto the beaches to replenish the beaches with the sand.
NRA for your free gun safe educational book at 1-888-4-EAGLE-4. That's 1-888-4-EAGLE-4.
You can hear the beep a little louder.
The JATES program has helped me so much in the outdoors. For a long time, I didn't even know what conservation even was. I want to do my part for wildlife. I love being a JATE. Whether you hunt or not, the JATES program has something for everyone. I know I'm doing my part for wildlife.
I really believe children hold the key to the future of wildlife.
And NWTF believes it too.
Mommy, what's wrong?
You can refuse to be a victim, and we can help. Call now about the I Refuse to Be a Victim safety course from the women of the NRA. It's not about guns or joining the NRA. It's about planning your own personal safety strategy. Call now.
Wild Turkey Woodlands program provides the materials. It provides a seed program, also technical assistance through their biologists. The land has been here for eons. It's only mine and my family's for a short period of time. We're the managers and the caretakers of it. That takes into account our way of life and our interest in our hunting heritage. And the Wild Turkey Woodlands program is the greatest conservation habitat development program of any conservation organization in this country.
Recently, Bob had a chance to go fishing with Captain Dave Amos of the Southwind 2 out of Fortescue, New Jersey for weakfish. Let's take a look.
We're not, what, about a mile and a half out of Fortescue, I guess?
About a mile and a half, yeah.
To the buoy. So we didn't have to go very far out here today. Tell me a little bit about the captain. How long have you been captaining down here in Fortescue?
Just 16 years. About 16 years.
What brought you to Fortescue?
Well, I put a head boat here.
That'll do it.
So they give me a dock with it, so I've been here ever since. That was back in 1982.
And you're actually from our area, Bristol.
Well, I lived up in Fairless Hills for 32 years. Yeah.
So you're from our area and got you down here. That's a really interesting. Tell me a little bit about Fortescue down here. It's a really cute fishing village.
It's a fishing village. We have about 30 charter boats and head boats, and there's no tap rooms or saloons there. It's a nice little town.
It's strictly fishing.
It's a lot of tourist fishing, but there's a lot of people that live there all year round. I forget the population, but it's not a shut down town. So all winter long people ride through here.
Now, saying that, when do you stop fishing here down here?
Well, now we got stripers coming in the fall, so a lot of us fish clean up till it gets super cold. Say, well, last year or the year before, we fished the first weekend in December.
So it depends on the weather. If it's a warmer winter, you'll stay out as long as long as you can. Now, you have a charter boat. Now, how many people do you take out on your boat? This isn't a head boat. This is a charter boat.
6-man charter.
So you'll just take 6 guys out. Now, what's the average charter run for 6 guys? How much do you charge?
We charge anywhere from $250 to $275.
And that's for how long? 8-hour day?
8-hour day. 8-hour day.
And when do you start your season? April or?
Well, the good fishing, we start in May. It's not always good fishing then, but But now, like I say, with the stripers, they come in in the spring, so that gives the people a shot. But the good super fishing is June, July, and August.
So if you want to come down, that's when you might want to schedule summer vacation, stuff like that, a day trip. You're not far from Cape May. How far is it from Cape May?
About 35 miles.
So it's not far if you're from Cape May, Ocean City. You can still come down and fish. We came down this morning. It took us less than 2 hours from our listening area up there in Doylestown. And it was a pleasant ride. It wasn't very difficult at all.
Especially
now some of the charters, got another fish on.
When you come early in the morning, you don't hit a lot of traffic.
Right.
You know.
What charters do you go out for? Blues? What else?
Mostly weak fish and flounder.
Weak fish and flounder.
What a lot of us do, we'll catch weak fish bright and early in the morning, and then they might shut off according to the tide. And then a lot of times we'll go out by the old house at Flounder Alley and go flounder fishing.
And I caught a flounder. We caught some weak fish. We caught some bluefish. We caught a ton of different fish. We've had a good time. We got some young kids. One of the things that I really do want to talk about is that you take kids on the boat. It's a good thing. It's a place where you want to take your kids fishing because they'll have a good time. You bring the family out. It's reasonable for a day's fishing. Let's just talk a little bit about the weak fish. Years ago, we lost the weak fish. I mean, they really went downhill. It was not really catching weak fish anymore. What brought the fish back?
Well, I think by putting limits on them, help bring them back.
Size limits and
size limits. And there was always a controversy between netters and sportsmen, but whose fault was it? Nobody really knows. But I think the cycle or Mother Nature, I think, had a lot to do with most of it.
Because now, I mean, years ago, they stopped. Weak fish was not really happening, and now we've caught some very nice fish today. Quality fish, very good looking, and they're beautiful looking fish.
We had a beautiful summer, and last year we had a beautiful summer, and I think by putting a size limit on it, and a bag catch limit.
Now, what's the bag limit? What's the bag limit per guy?
Weak fish have to be 14 inches, and we're allowed 14.
Okay.
Per man.
Per man. Okay.
And that's plenty.
That's plenty. Yeah.
You figure if every one of us got 14 fish on this boat, what do you think?
Yeah, that would be some. There we go. And another one comes in.
Is this a nice interview or what?
And that's the kind of action that's happening. We've had a tough day today. Let's face it.
Had a tough day getting started.
Wind was up against us. We got a front coming through. Not unlike most of the shows that we've done this year. We're beautiful yesterday. You guys were out here. It was hot. It was gorgeous. Came down here. The temperatures dropped probably 20 degrees, but we're still catching fish.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
And we're going to load up that thing, and it's still possible. So if you have a chance, we're going to put the captain's number up. Call him. Come on down. There's still plenty of good fishing, and book a trip for next spring. Book a striper trip. Hold on, Dave. Oh. Well, we're here in Belmar, New Jersey. I'm fishing with a good fishing buddy of mine, Dave Steckley. We're trying to catch some weak fish, but it seems like we're just not doing too well here with these shad. Well, with the weak fish, but we're catching shad. So I guess we'll take what we can get, right, Dave?
That's all we can go for.
Yeah. He hit that pretty good too, but what are we doing wrong here? I don't know. Is it is the tide not right for us, or what?
It could be a number of things right now. It doesn't seem like the fish are here when you don't have the locals here.
Right.
The fish aren't here.
Yeah. That fish, he came right down and lost my worm on that one. At least that was something anyway.
Have to refresh.
We'll have to bait up again. Maybe that's a sign of some more fishing. We'll see. See what's going on here. All right. New worm. And we're going to catch some weak fish. I just know it. Let's go. Well, we're here with the tackle box section, Dave. And it's pretty simple fishing. This is not really complicated tackle that we're really getting into. Basically, it's a lead-headed jig, and we're using plastics, and this would be just a culprit worm, right?
Right, 6-inch culprit worm.
But we have other ones here. Now this first one, what do we have? What do we have here?
This here's a pink finesse that we're using, and about a 4 or 6 inches both work well. It seems to be the color of choice at times.
And again, it's just casting it out there and
that's all it is, and jigging it off the bottom.
Jigging it off the bottom.
Yep.
And now the pink, is this pink and what? Like a...
That is a pink and silver fleck.
And is that the most popular?
Yeah, it seems to be these days right now. It seems to be the most popular color and choice. The other color would be the silver and black. You know, imitating the bait fish.
I know a lot of times we get the fishing reports and they're using finesse. When this is the finesse.
Yeah, this is the finesse that they're talking about when they're what they're using down here, and the colors of choice are the pink though.
Okay, and the next worm we got?
The next worm is a 6-inch culprit worm, and that is all in the black and silver. And this seems to better imitate like the sand eels and stuff of choice of what they're looking for and feeding on.
So we're trying to match that sandy eel or
sure.
something like that.
Yep.
And again, these are bass worms, really. These aren't.
Oh no, there's nothing fancy
not salt
about
and water
it.
about this. We're just using the. And you say the 6 inch is the best, or your 8 inch?
Yeah, that's what we seem to find. If they seem to be hitting short, we will take a little bit off the head here and make it a little bit shorter so that you get a better hook set with it.
And again, now this color here, what do we have here?
Well, this one here, I believe this is a smoke and silver here. The June bug works well. That's another good color that seems to work well. I believe that's what you have here is the June bug color.
And again, it's sort of like just imitating the eels.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
The
When
bait
the fish
fish.
when they're biting well, they'll pretty much hit any color that you put out there. But a lot of it is the tail action it gets, just imitating any of the bait fish that are in the water at this
Because
time.
we were talking about that tonight. I mean, it's basically hard to see anything out there, but it's that tail action. I think with a little bit of the light that we have around the jetties here and stuff like that. And the jig head we're using is just.
It's just either a 3/8 ounce, a ½ ounce. Jig heads work well. This here is obviously a shaped head with an eye on it. The ball head jigs also work well.
And now these are a little heavier hook though than we would really be.
Oh sure.
Bass fishing. I mean, you can use this for bass fishing, but they have a little collar on there to hold the worm on.
Right.
But it's a heavier hook because you can catch stripers in here plus the.
Oh, numerous amounts. Yes.
Yeah. So you want to have a little heavier hook on that. And this is you can 3/8 to a ½ ounce I think is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
Now
anything that'll get you down to the bottom.
Yeah, the tide, it depends on how the tide's ripping and you get a little bit of wind here or something like that. You want to do that. And as far as terminal tackle, just a bass reel and
basically a bait caster reel works well. A spinning outfit works just as well, if not better. Like I said, in a 12 to 14 pound test line works great. A 6 foot on up to say an 8 foot or even 9 foot rod, depending on
you don't need any leaders or anything like that, do you?
No, not when you're weak fishing. No, you typically don't need the leaders. Some people do use them, but really
they won't. So it's up just preference, but really it's just direct tide on here.
Sure.
And I think like 14 pound test. Now, one of the things we got to also mention is a net.
Very important to have a net.
Where we are, and we're fishing off a jetty basically, and like you said, the fish have a soft mouth, and try to lifting them like that, you're going to lose fish.
Oh, sure. No
so
doubt.
a long-handled, wide-mouth net is definitely
very
thing
important
to do that because you can't reach. We know what it was. It's slippery out here.
Oh yeah, when the water starts heading out, these rocks are very slippery, and you can't walk on them unless you have some type of jetty spike of sort or something like that where you can step down there. But yeah, a long-handled net is definitely the choice.
Well, that's about it for the tackle box section. Let's get back there and get some more fish.
Sounds good to me.
Well, we tried to catch some weak fish tonight, and it was a little tough. Caught some shad, had some bites, but that's not really indicative of how well this and how good this fishing is down here in Belmar at the Shark River. I want to thank Dave Steckley. Dave was a heck of a job. He gave up a lot of time tonight to help us out here. Dave comes down a lot. He said it's great fishing here, and I know I'll be back again. We'll do some more of that. But come on down to Belmar. It's quick, it's easy, it's a lot of fun. Just the only thing that I would say is check the tides. Make sure that you find out when the outgoing tide is. That's the best tide that we have to use. Could be daylight. Right now, because it's summertime, it's a lot cooler down here. It was a beautiful night to be out on the water. Just enjoyed that. So come on down and enjoy the weak fish, the fluke fishing, the blue fishing. You can take charter boats out here. You can take half-day boats, 8-hour boats, all kinds of stuff. Come on down to Belmar. I think you'll enjoy it. Hey, I'm Bob Murray. It's Delaware Valley Outdoors. Don't forget to stop at the website, DelawareValleyOutdoors.com, for tides, wind reports, fish reports, and send me an email too. I'd like to hear how you did fishing now when you come down to Belmar. I'm Bob Murray. I'll see you on the water.